Alright, what do we got here? Water pump, 289, off the project we're working on. Both of these heater hose nipples were rotted out. That's all that's left of them after I finally got them out of their bores. They are a very tight fit. I think they're actually a press fit. I'm hoping I'll be able to just drive them in with a dead blow hammer. I've done this many years ago, and I do not remember exactly if that's how that worked out or not. I normally would use a liquid Loctite, so that way it kind of flows a little better around the fitting. I think this time I'm going to use silicone, great stuff. Just a really thin coat, just so that if I did gouge, it'll kind of take up that imperfection and give it a little bit of a seal. As tight as it is in there, I can't see the silicone creating any kind of an issue with it blowing it back out under pressure, so excuse me. Once we get that done, and I'm not sure if I'll try to film it or not, but maybe I'll do one, see how well that goes, and maybe I can set the camera up for a second one. If that goes good, then we should be able to put the rear cover back on, decide if we're going to seal it up with a silicone, since it's water pump fluid, antifreeze, you know, that thing. If that works out, we should be able then to continue on to timing cover. So I'll do some digging around on this thing and figure out if that's how I want to handle this, and I will let you know once I get one in, or if I decide to film it, you'll see it all. Okay. I've used a little bit of ultra black here, put it around the base of that tube. Oh, let me get this repositioned here. Just put a small light coat around there. We got this socket that sits on this, pretty snug. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, and I've given it a couple of taps and I think it's started. So now we just need to finish driving it until it stops. And the camera's probably going to shake a little bit, so I do apologize for that. But okay, that's all it took. It's nice strong metal, so nothing messed up there. And the nice thing about it, it got just enough thin of a coat on there that you can see that there's just a little silicone bead all the way around there now. So if that did have any imperfections in it, that I believe would have sealed it, and I don't think we're going to have any more problems. So yes, you can drive it in with a dead blow and a socket. And this one looks like, I think that one should work for that one too. Of course, you know, I'm pretty old school. My dad taught me to use my sockets, even though that's not how you should treat your sockets. It's same thing, it's just a snug fit probably. So let's do the same thing. We'll get a small coat of this on there. Hopefully I'm staying in the shot here. Really thin, just all the way around. Nothing special. And put just a little round at the end. I don't think we have to go very far, because I didn't on that one. We still ended up with a pretty nice bead around it, so I think we're good. Get this wiped off of my finger. That will be all silicone-y for the rest of the day. And hopefully we should be able to repeat this process for this one. And if you didn't know, there is there's a shoulder down inside that hole, so it'll only drive so far, and it was the same with this one too. There is a small shoulder on the inside edge that only allows that tube to go so far, so you shouldn't be able to drive it in any further than it's supposed to go. It's kind of like a preset stop, as guess most people would say. Put that on there. And same thing, it's starting, should be good. Try to figure out where to put my hands so I don't smash my fingers. And I can kind of hold everything. And that felt good. Yep, solid. We are down all the way. New tube, should be good to go. I'm glad that went smoothly. It's been a while since I've done one of those, and I couldn't remember if it was a real booger to get in or if it was fairly simple. And like I said, it's tight enough. I don't think that silicone's ever going to have a reason to let that thing blow out of there. Somebody may comment and tell me that's probably the worst mistake I could ever make, but you know, we'll take it as face value at the moment. We'll see what happens. Okay, so next step we got here is we got to match up our gaskets and figure out which ones go here, and then we'll use the two attaching bolts to hold the back plate on. And it looks like I do need to brush those off a little bit. They're still a little rusty. I don't know if I got to put any sealer on that. I don't think you have to, because these don't go into any water jackets. And we'll take a look at it and we'll decide. I'll see if I can find a torque spec on these. I don't think these have to be torqued as long as they're tight, because you don't want to tighten them too much, because then it might flex the plate out a little bit when you're putting it on. I think I definitely want to put silicone on this plate for sure to make sure this isn't leaking, but I may not on the one between the plate and the timing cover. But once we get this buttoned up, then we should be ready, I think, to go ahead and tackle the timing cover, start getting everything prepped for it to put it on. So I'm glad those two went on flawlessly. That's not too terrible. It is a pain to get those things out, so don't get discouraged. Try to pick your tools or your weapons, whatever you want to call it. These work really good. The thing you got to worry about is the sharp point. If you can get it down beside it, like I did there, I got it all the way down, and what it did is it curled the material in, and when it did that, it took the pressure off of it, and then I was able to grab it with a pair of needle noses and pull it out. To get it to initially do that can be really tough. I did use a flat blade screwdriver, a really tiny one. Bad thing about those, you can't pry on them too much because then they break, and really this will do the same thing. If you're not careful and you pry too much on this tool, you can break the tip off. But if you hit too hard or don't realize you've bottomed out, then you're going to put a giant gouge in that surface that's at the very bottom of that bore, which could create a leak if you don't put some kind of a sealer on those tubes. Like I said, I'm pretty sure the last time I did this, I think I used a liquid medium blue Loctite, which I have done that with freeze plugs in the past, and I've had no issues with that. I've seen people use silicone. I don't think I've personally ever used silicone on freeze plugs, but we tried on this. We'll see what happens. And I didn't point it out, but it's got that nice little thin silicone bead right around there. I think that's going to seal it up just fine. So it should have gotten into all the little funky weird crevices. I think we'll be good. I'm going to clean up the threads on this bolt real quick for this back cover. They got a little bit of crud up here, and there's several different ways you can approach cleaning this stuff out. You can kind of pick at it, take some of the big chunky stuff out of it, which most of the time that works really good. But I got these nice little thread chase and repair, so we'll give it a whirl. And if you guys have never used this stuff before, this stuff is excellent. I don't get paid anything to show you guys any of this stuff. It's just stuff that I've used. I've gotten this from a automotive store, well, dealership, Ford dealership actually. Lots of dealerships carry this. There's independents that carry this. I think you could probably find it online and buy it from some independents online. The can is a little expensive, but this stuff works really good. If you're trying to heat something and take it off, you heat it, put a little bit of this on it, let it soak, heat it, put a little bit of this on it, let it soak, and it will just eat into that rust and help loosen stuff up. This stuff works really good. So what we are going to do, we're going to throw a little dab of that on there. We're going to get that out of your way. And we're going to just thread that thing on there ever so gently until it starts hanging up. And we just kind of work it back and forth. And that's probably as far as that's going to go by hand. So now we'll move over to, did I bring the right wrench? Absolutely not on that one. Definitely not that one. This should be half. Nope. Metric. 13. Okay, that's 13. Now, let me go see. Grab a 5/8. Okay. Let's kind of just work it back and forth ever so gently. Don't force it. It should kind of take care of itself. But just basically just run it down little by little until it cleans up all that crud. And like I said, we're not trying to cut threads, we're just trying to clean them. So don't be sitting here trying to go any further with it. Don't force it. See, I'm just kind of swinging it until it stops. I'm not pushing, kind of giving it a swing. I'm not being real hard on it. So, and that, I felt it cut through that junk, and that lubrication helps things from probably wearing out your threads there for one thing, but then after you're done, just spray it off with some cleaner, and same thing with that. It's dug all the stuff out of the threads there. The threads are nice and clean. Shouldn't have any problems with this thing threading down all the way like it's supposed to now. And we'll just clean it off with some brake wash in a Sure Shot container, or spray can, carb cleaner, you know, your choice of cleaners. I've even went as far as using pre-paint prep to clean off surfaces just to make sure they're clean. As long as you get some kind of a cleaner on there, not going to interfere with anything, should be good.